Hey, hey, what is going on? I am the Dharma Guy, and you're listening to Dharma Time. And I'm also here with, what's this guy's name? Oh, the Dope Doctor.
Oh, boy.
What is up?
What's happening?
We are, let me finish it off here. You're listening to the Dharma Time, or Dharma Time on WPSN99.com.
Is that your It's Brett TV?
Yeah, right. I'm trying to do the whole Brett TV 99.com. No, you were listening to Dharma Time here at WPSN99.com. We are the problem-solving network where we're doing our best to stream you guys some solutions. And I think we got some good ones today.
Yeah.
But before I start in on today's topic, I do have to say welcome back to you and to me, right? Like, we were both gone.
We're saying that every week because we're always
yeah,
gone.
I know, right? Yes, I was in the Bahamas.
Yes.
We took our daughter, our 14-year-old daughter, we took her to the Bahamas for her, I guess kind of like a graduation from middle school to high school thing. And
Sweet.
yeah, and she's wanted to go for a while, and we took her there and had a good time. I think she enjoyed herself. I think, I don't know how quickly she's going to want to go back to a cruise because she had no phone, no movies, none of that stuff.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think there was a couple moments where she was like, oh, I'm kind of bored. I was like, yeah, I figured you would be.
Wow.
But I think she enjoyed it. She liked being there. She liked seeing the beach. The problem, though, I think, is the things that we think are great about the cruise.
Right.
The no phone, no communication, nothing to do, kind of just sit back, relax, and eat. That's not really appealing to a 14-year-old audience, you know? Because to be honest with you, that is one of my favorite parts of the cruise, is the fact that
Really?
I have zero phone.
That's what drives me nuts.
Like, I nobody, because my problem is first of all, my wife is always on it. Second of all, for me, it comes at the most inopportune times. Like somebody's texting me, calling me, whatever. No, it's actually not. It's usually others. But so yeah, I like the fact of I'm disconnected. It's forcing me to disconnect.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that like one of the cruise ship that we typically go on, there's a spot on the side where we just go and put some chairs and relax. And just stare at the ocean and kind of chill and just this very, not to sound cliche, but it's very like Zen-like kind of just peace, you know. And it's one of my favorite parts. But anyways.
I like it.
And then you went to the Keys, right?
I was at the Keys, man.
Was it just Key West or was it all of the Keys?
Kind of did them all. We stayed at Marathon.
Oh, okay. I like Marathon.
Yeah, and went all the way down to the Key to see the buoy where you and your family took your picture.
You have to, right?
It's too long of a line, though. We didn't do it.
Oh, really?
We did a drive-by.
When we went,
I got to post that picture, by the way. We did a drive-by, and it came out really good. The hell knows I stayed in that line.
See,
did you have a line?
I know. Not when I went there.
Oh, hell no. There was too many people.
You know, and I actually looked out when we went got married in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
We took a picture in front of the sign.
Yeah.
And when we got there was like 3 people standing there. I was like, really? There's supposed to be a line here?
Wow.
By the time we were done, there was like 100 people in the line.
Oh, yeah,
I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So,
no, there was too many people at southernmost point.
Yeah. And I will say, before we get started, last thing, I loved the video of the lizard drinking out of the whirlpool.
Wasn't he cool?
That was amazing. How did you catch that? Did you know he was going to do that? Was he already doing that?
No.
So you were just randomly filming, and he just walked up.
I was coming up because he was walking. He was coming in. So I started doing the jacuzzi so that you could see that the lizard was coming.
That's so awesome.
Like, he was creeping on me.
That was so cool.
And then the little dude put his little mouth in the jacuzzi, and I just thought,
awesome.
Wow,
that was the best video, man.
That was cool.
The fact that you caught it right at that moment when you walked up.
Yeah, I got lucky. I just got lucky.
That was really cool.
It's not a $10,000 lucky.
$10,000.
Yeah, you know, like one of those videos that you catch where
they go viral or something.
yeah, or just that someone wants to pay you for it. But it was lucky enough that I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I liked it. So anyways.
so tell me about you do a lot of cruises. So are you saying that no cruises let you use cell phones yet, or have that ability yet, or just that particular cruise
that I'm aware of?
Okay,
because what it is when you're in international waters, your phone is on roaming.
Right.
Unless you have like an international plan.
Right.
I don't have an international plan.
Right.
So when I'm out there, it would be roaming. So if I didn't turn my phone off, when I got back to the States, I'd have like $1,000 phone bill.
Okay, so it is possible. It's just you need a different plan, you think?
Yeah, you have to have like international calling plan.
Interesting.
Because it's like different networks and stuff.
Okay, I was just wondering because I was thinking they would fix that by now.
Yeah. I mean, you can fix it. You just got to pay the plan. Or you got to be willing to pay like $1,000 phone bill.
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I digress.
Happy birthday to her, by the way.
Who?
Skylar.
Oh, her birthday. Yeah, her birthday was in.
But it was for her birthday,
July.
so happy birthday to Skylar again.
Yeah.
It's the birthday that never ends.
Right. All right. So today's show is relationships. Now we're doing a 3-part series. So for those of you listening in, make sure you catch the next 2 weeks as well, because this is part 1 of 3 parts. And the reason why we're doing this is because as you may have guessed or you may already know, relationships are complicated, right?
No.
They take a lot of work. There's a lot of nuances that are involved in it, and I think there's a ton of questions. And I think today's show is long overdue because, be it the fact that we're both in relationships and we've both dealt with the ups and downs that come with it.
Yeah.
We have friends who are in relationships. We have friends who are single. We're both on social media where everybody feels the need to post their status and their feelings on the status all the time.
Complicado.
Yeah, man. It just seems like relationships are on the tip of a lot of people's tongues right now. And so I think that it's a show I wanted to do for a long time. But I guess I was just waiting for the right moment. And for whatever reason, today feels like the right moment.
Good.
So that's what we're doing. So part one, we decided to break it down into parts. And I'm not going to tell you the other two parts. You're going to have to tune in to find out. I'm not going to cut you off easy there. It's not going to happen.
So you're not even going to...
No.
You're not even going to telegraph the part 2 and 3?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I'm going to make them listen, baby.
Interesting.
Reel them in, man. Sell the sizzle. No, so today's part, though, is going to be like the courtship, right? The getting into relationships.
Right.
Your thoughts beforehand, the work, things of that nature that you have to do on yourself and whatnot.
Right.
So that's what we're going to discuss today. So first and foremost, for full transparency purposes, right? I'll put my mine out there, my philosophy, if you will, that I used to have.
Okay.
And I think that's what prompted today's topic, I believe, was like I was very anti-relationship, as you know.
Right.
And many of our listeners might know if they listened to the Couch Live back in the day when we made it quite known numerous times through jokes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was very anti-relationship. I had a couple. I don't know if I call them relationships. I had friends. We spent time together, but it was those interactions.
Wait a minute.
Here we go.
What did you just say?
Hey, I'm trying to keep this PG here. I had friends. I had individuals that I enjoyed their company. Once or twice a week.
Okay, did they think they were in a relationship?
No.
Okay.
I was very upfront.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were kind of like talking about certain individuals that you were in relationships with and you were just calling them friends.
No. I made it known.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. That was a point of contention, actually.
Right.
A lot of times many times I was given the ultimatum of, hey, I can't do this anymore. Right. Let's go to the next step. And I was like, well,
it was nice knowing you.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I've been there.
Go have fun.
Sorry about that.
I'm not him, but I'll hang out with you till you find him.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was very anti-relationship. So the few, the friends that I had, or even the couple little relationships I did have, it put a bad taste in my mouth. Right. I didn't see enough within those interactions to say to me, I want to do this forever.
Right.
Not to mention, because I was young and I had my own thought process and my own ways of dealing and coping, if you will. I didn't see the compatibility with men and women living together and stuff. Like I saw a lot of the bad, basically. I didn't see a lot of the good. And for more transparency purposes, I come from a broken home. I come from a home that didn't have, my mom and dad staying together. I saw a lot of fights and abuse and things of that nature early on.
Yeah.
So one could say I was somewhat jaded early on, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't see a good example of what it could be. I saw what it could be in a bad way, I guess. And then my own personal, experiences along those lines kind of reiterated, this isn't something that I really want. I didn't see value in it at all, actually. And I also got to say that at that period of my time, I was young, I was in great shape, I was doing motorcycle stunts, and, I was that bad boy. And so I was sought after, if you will. So I had a lot of options, basically.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things in my mind at the time, why buy the cow when you're getting the milk for free sort of a thing.
Right.
And
there was a lot of milk.
There was a lot of milk, yes. And so I didn't really see the value in it. And I was very anti-relationship, which is why everybody was extremely shocked when I went straight from I hate this stuff, I'm never going to have it, to, hey, I got married over the weekend.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were shocked.
Because you didn't tell anybody, people.
No, I did not. I didn't. And I kind of did that on purpose, though. I kind of kept it to myself. I think that, I don't know. I think even for me, I was kind of unsure about where everything was going. I didn't really know. Not to mention, I do believe, though, that especially in the early stages of a relationship, I think it's best to keep it off of Facebook and whatnot. Like, I think there's a lot of challenges that come with telling everybody all your business, basically. Having said that, I do believe there are certain individuals in my life I probably should have kept him in the loop.
Yeah, like Louis.
Yeah. But anyways, so that was my thing. How about yourself? Were you always relationship minded? Did you think
Zero.
Did you think you were going to be married someday?
Zero. Oh, I knew I was going to be married someday. No doubt.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No. I knew I was going to be married someday. I didn't think I was going to have my father's kind of marriage. I have the opposite. I mean, my father's like an amazing father, an amazing husband.
Right.
Where my mom's just a little bit thirsty, and my dad's running and getting her, something to drink.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, honey, and she wasn't always the nicest person in the world when she'd ask for it. She would just like demand, and he would run and go. And so I'm like, Dad, that's not the way men need to be. So being raised with that, I looked at people like Archie Bunker and Fred Sanford and George Jefferson, and those were my role models as far as what I thought a man really should be here in the United States. And I just thought my dad was like that because he was old-fashioned Latino. And I said, Dad, here in the States, you're supposed to just sit in your easy chair and tell them what you want, and they go get it.
Bring me this woman.
And he used to always just look at me and goes, you have no idea. You're stupid. He goes, that is not the way it is. And I used to be like, no, that is. That's the way husbands are. That's the way men are.
TV show was.
And my best friend at the time, when I was telling my father this, he was exactly like that.
Right.
Les would come home. His wife would take his work boots off.
Oh, geez, really?
She was a nurse. She was still in her nurse gear when she took off his military work boots, and she's running around getting him his cigarettes, getting him his beer, getting him his food, and he would just sit in that easy chair and do nothing.
I'm going to try that when I get home. When I get home, I'm like, hey, these aren't going to take themselves off.
Brother, I thought that was my life in the future.
When I show up on Friday with a black eye, we'll know why.
So, and then add to that the women in my life, my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, all told me, just be a butterfly. Don't settle down. You're too young. Go with all of them. So I was given this permission to just be free. So I was. And that's what I did. So I never had a girlfriend. Dana was Dana is and my only girlfriend ever.
Yeah, I've only had, two? I think. Well, three. And I married the third one, so.
Yeah, I married the first. I mean, if you're going to call those third grade relationships.
I wouldn't call
them. I'm talking about only relationship that I ever said I love you to.
Yeah. Same here, I would say. So, I think the place to start then is to talk about the work that we got to do on ourselves. Right. I think that's where we got to start. And what I mean by that is what I hear a lot, and I think is a mistake to start out doing, is everybody spends so much time, and whether you're talking to them, I see on Facebook postings and whatnot, and friends I've spoken to in the past, they spend so much time talking about what they want their spouse to have, what they need to look like, what they need to do, how they need to act, how they need to view them. Just this laundry list of expectations of what they're going to get from that partner.
You got that right.
And I think that's a mistake. I think that we don't spend enough time trying to be the right person.
Okay.
We spend all of our time looking for the right person as opposed to being the right person. And I think that just from math and physics alone, if everybody's spending time looking for the right, but nobody's trying to be the right, then nobody's going to be the right. And so I think that we do need to spend more time focusing on who we are and what we want to present to the world. Right. An example is my 14-year-old daughter. Right. She's 14. She's getting ready to go to high school. Up until this point, boys have been kind of icky and gross. A little bit in 7th and 8th grade, there were some boys that she liked, and they did this little they're dating kind of thing. But all that really meant was they would text. That kind of stuff.
They snapped each other.
Yeah. And so, but that prompted me okay, now we need to start having some real discussion, and so one of the things I'm telling her, and I told this to a good friend of mine, Carlos, I told this to him back in the day, and he actually, believe it or not, listened to me.
Nice.
I said, look, man, when you're young, you're going to have this desire, your hormones are going to kick in, your friends and society is going to tell you that you need to be going and finding that special someone to either have sex with or to build your life with, but find somebody basically. And I told him, I was like, look, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that it doesn't come with some fantastic stuff and it doesn't feel great or whatever, but what I am going to tell you is that it's a distraction when you're early on, right? Because once as a kid, like right now, my 14-year-old, she's focused on life. She's getting ready to go to school. She wants to be a veterinarian. We got in this great magnet program. And I keep trying to tell her, look, all these goals and these dreams and your stuff that you have at the moment, that's all possible. Like, you can really bust your butt and get out there and make these things happen. But I'm telling you right now, the second you start to get into the dating world and you start getting that kind of affection, it's going to take over. You might not want it to, you might not intend for it to do, and you could be an outlier, but usually it takes over. It all starts to become about that person, and you forget you get distracted. And then you wake up 10 years later, and maybe you're not with that person anymore, and you're like, gosh, man, where did all this time go? Why didn't I do this, this, and this? And so I say wait as long as you can. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm not telling you not to have friends. At the end of the day, it's your life. You can do what you need to do, but I'm just telling you from experience and from people I've known, wait. Work on yourself. Get your schooling done. Get your career done. Go out there, experience some life. Go out there, meet people, go travel. Become a well-rounded person. Work on your demons. Work on who you are. Become the version of yourself that you're proud of, that you like, that you want to share with somebody else. And then that way you offer more to that person, and the relationship will go a lot smoother. Because what I see a lot of the times is people who don't do that, either A, they have a lot of resentment because they feel like they didn't get a lot of stuff done, or B, they it's the only person they've been with or whatever, so they got wandering eyes, they're always wondering what if, that kind of stuff, or thirdly, they don't know how to be in a relationship. And so they might have somebody who's really good for them, but they haven't dealt with all their baggage yet, and so they're bringing it into this relationship, and that other that's not their role. Their role isn't to fix you. Their role is to share life with you. And you could run somebody away who could legitimately be really good for you. And so that was my advice to her. I was like, look, just take your time, man. You got your whole life to be worried about, boys and everything else. Work on being the best you can be. Work on just being, getting your education, like I said. Get your education, get your career going, but most importantly, experience life. Like, get out there and learn. Get out there and travel, see the world, meet people. Not to sound pessimistic, I guess, but, what if her, quote-unquote soulmate, if you will, if you believe in those things, right. What if her soulmate is like in another country right now?
Right.
And you haven't even gotten out of Florida as an adult.
Right.
And you find somebody here in Orlando, in this little town, and you kind of make it work with this person. And you can fall in love with somebody who isn't your quote-unquote soulmate. You can learn to love somebody. But the person who's really right for you might be out there in the world still, and you haven't met them yet because you settled for the first date that came across before you were ready even. I'm not saying that there's not good people here. I met my wife here, obviously. And I think you met your wife here as well.
Clearwater, yeah.
Yeah. So, but what I am saying, though...
But I came from L.A. and then I met her.
Yeah.
I did not know that she was going to be here.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is if you're under like 25, I really do believe that you need to spend more time working on you.
Right.
I think you should travel. I think you should meet new people, see new places, become more cultured, understand things more, understand what your strengths and weaknesses are, be comfortable in that before you start trying to share that with somebody else. Because what you think is good stuff, you might actually be sharing baggage with this other person, and nobody wants to stick around for that. But go ahead. I talked for a lot there, so go ahead.
No, I think that, when you brought that up, when the way you just shared all that, the first thing that comes to my head is different levels of relationships.
Yeah.
For instance, I think my oldest is a one and done kind of person, but my youngest isn't.
Okay.
In other words, my youngest treats your relationship like it's my now relationship.
Okay.
So she's not like goo-goo crazy. No, she's good with the commitment. She doesn't do anything to harm that. It's just she's very realistic in that, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, but it's not. She's not a jealous person. She's not overly like, oh, I have to go back and talk to him. I have to talk to him right now. It's not. Whereas my oldest, we're on vacation. She's 19 years old. She's supposed to be the more mature one. Yet she's miserable on vacation because she wants to come back and talk to him. My youngest, who's 16, is like, I'm good.
Right.
It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So in other words, like the other one's already trying to live like she's married. And I think when you just mentioned all that, what I thought of, if we're going to take the parental aspect and talking about relationship at all, it's going to be, well, just enjoy the relationship for what it is and for the age that it is.
Yeah.
Understand what age you are. And I'm not going to say there's a lot of other fish out there, and I'm not going to use the cliches or anything like that. But what I am going to say is that just enjoy the person for the friendship that it is. Yeah. And if it gets deeper and it gets further, then fantastic.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, then at least you're not going to be so heartbroken about it.
Well, I know that
I
can speak for my own self, even as a male. And obviously I think it's different for men and women, but I think from my perspective as a male, I know when I first kind of got into that world of sexual activity, dude, that's all I thought about. That was it, man. It was, I spent the rest of my days trying to find out when I can get my next one. Yeah. That's all I spent, and nothing else. Nothing else was important.
Right.
Nothing else was made as much sense as trying to figure that out. Even getting with your boys going out. It wasn't to go out and have a good time. No. It was, I'm gonna go find the lady tonight.
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
It consumes you. And I've seen women do the same. I see women, it consumes them in a different way though. They're not trying to find the next one. They're trying to make that one the best it can be.
Right.
And they're spending all their time like,
some women.
Some.
The times have changed a little bit.
They have.
Good for them, by the way.
Sure. We've done it for thousands of years.
Good for them.
Their turn. But I just think that's what I'm saying is it can become all consuming. Right. And my problem with that isn't as much, this is going to sound bad, but I don't have as much of a problem with putting off quote unquote life, if you will, like your schooling career and things of that nature.
Right.
Which I think is a problem, but that can be overcome. What I don't like is putting off your growth.
Right.
That's what I don't like. Is when you get into a relationship, oftentimes it becomes about making that relationship better and not making you better.
Right.
And that person, that relationship might not be conducive to a better you right now.
Right.
And that, so it can retard that growth.
Yeah, and I think what people forget is that you fish better when you're better. In other words, like, I mean, I'm not a fisherman, but I know enough to know that certain bait catches some fish.
Yes.
And certain bait catches a different fish.
Yeah.
And there was a time in my life when, before Dana, I was fishing with the kind of bait that was saying, if you have daddy issues, if you like bad boys, if you like criminals, if you like to party real heavy with no commitment, ding, 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 call me up, because I'm not the kind of guy you take home to mom.
I had a shirt.
But I am fun as hell.
I had a shirt, and I still have it to this day, actually. I don't wear it anymore, but it says, I'm not Mr. Right, but I'll blank you until he comes along.
Absolutely.
That was my shirt.
And so, I mean, I never, and this is weird, nice girls did not like me.
No.
Good girls, I mean, they liked me as to talk to. They thought I was interesting and funny, but they were like, I would never go out with you. You know, that's how we were friends.
So
whereas the bad girls, on the other hand, they were like all over it. And even the nice girls that were like cheating on their boyfriends liked me. But I'm talking about the virgins, the ones that really, they would just be like, nah, that's just way too crazy. And I think it was the drugs. It was what it was is I wasn't just bad. There was this party lifestyle that was just like, they knew. It was like, no way. That's like
I had the
evil.
You know what I had a lot of?
Well,
I had a lot of women who thought that they could be the one to tame me.
Yeah, I didn't get into that.
Like, I had the ones that thought, like, I was the big tree in the woods that everybody wanted to, to hack down.
Right.
And they thought they were going to be the one that was going to do it. Yeah. And a lot of women thought that they could kind of, like, tame me.
Yeah, I know which ones those are, but no.
I had a ton of those.
Thank God I didn't have those. Because, you know what? That personality is very annoying to me.
Yeah.
That
probably the reason why I was single for so
long. Yeah, the people that have the personality that think that oh, well, if I was with him, it would be different.
Yeah.
I've never liked that.
Yeah. I had quite a few of those ones that thought, like, I had a lot of women that, once again, I was up front. I would tell them up front, look, man, I'm not Mr. Right.
Yeah,
look, we could do this until you're not comfortable anymore, and when you're not comfortable, let me know, and we'll still be friends and move on. There's no need for it to get ugly.
Yeah.
And a lot of them didn't necessarily even want that, but they agreed to it because they figured that I would change my mind after. So, and they were very upset towards the end when they realized, like, this dude's not changing. Like, he was up front, and he is still up front.
Yeah.
But anyways,
but I think the part that you said, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the cleaning up yourself and cleaning up your own closet a little bit, and getting into it, I think is real important. And I think that you and I think we're in successful relationships because we did that. We kind of worked on ourselves and built ourselves up a lot before we found these beautiful ladies, and I think that changed everything.
Angel and I talk about this all the time.
Right.
At least from my perspective, her and I would never have made it
had
I been who I was before I met her.
Yeah, there's
just no way, because the things that she brought to the table, I didn't value.
Right.
And the things that we have now, I just didn't value those.
Yeah, I would have ran from Dana. Yeah, there was no way I would have, because I would have been like, nah, nah, you don't want this.
Sure. And I think that's part of it, right? And that's what I mean by working on yourself. Is I think that when you work on yourself, you're less likely to get taken advantage of,
right? Because
you know your weaknesses. It's harder for somebody to use those weaknesses against you when you know them. When you're innocent and young and you don't really know the game very well, it's very easy for somebody to kind of swoop in and say, like, I could take advantage of that, and you can get into a very bad relationship that way.
Yeah.
But I think that, like you pointed out, when you work on yourself, when you're a confident person, when you love yourself, when you have boundaries and you know how to enforce those boundaries, what you bring to the table is so much different, and what you attract is so much different.
That's the key.
There's a guy, the guy who's attracted to to loving somebody and being committed and treating them right is not going to be attracted to the
wounded animal.
The wounded animal, no. They're going to be attracted to the confident, sexy woman who knows what she brings to the table, but can make it work. That's what they're going to be attracted to, and that's what you're going to bring towards you.
And if you have to tell someone that you're a strong, confident woman, you're not.
No, you're not. It should be evident.
Yeah, it's just evident just in your normal conversation. In other words, a strong, confident, powerful, intelligent woman, when around a guy that's disrespectful or not, can allow him to be disrespectful and then just smile and just walk away.
Yeah.
Does not have to tell him, does not have to force anything into him.
You don't
does not have to try to change him. You don't have to get hood on him. You could just smile and say, "Yeah, you're funny," and then just walk away. And I think that's what I really loved about Dana, is that as crazy as when she met me, I still attracted a lot of the crazy women, and so they did a lot of crazy things around me, but I would tell her what they were doing,
right?
And she would just be like, "Well, if that's what you want." I mean, she was just never nothing freaked her out, even though right now she'll say, "God, I've never met women. I never even knew women acted like that."
Yeah.
But back then, she didn't give me any of that, and I was like, it just made me more attracted to her. The fact that I could come home and tell her about all these crazy women, and she would just be like,
"Well, what are you going to do?" I've said it to you before. I mean, I've never said it on air, and I'll be very selective in what I say. But the moment that I knew that I looked at Angel differently, there was something that happened with somebody else, another female, and this other female was trying to cause discord between the two of us and was butting in saying certain things. And I've had it happen in the past, and it's always gone a certain way. But with Angel, it went completely different. It was loyal to me, and loyalty is big to me.
Wow.
And she was like, "Look, I don't know what this is all about, but take care of it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I took care of it, and everything went the way it was supposed to go. But because she handled that like an adult, that was the moment I was like, "Hold up, that's interesting."
Right.
And so it caught my attention, but to see, I wouldn't have valued that before. I would just be like, whatever. Yeah. I'll get another one.
Right.
Like, I didn't care.
Right.
But the fact that where I was at in my life at that point, I was still kind of growing a little bit more, but I've done a lot of growth by that point. Yeah. But where I was at, I valued that kind of loyalty. I valued that kind of grown, confidence, if you will. Like, I valued that. I was like, I like that. So, I stuck around, and we're married now, obviously, but
how many years now?
We'll be 3 in December.
That's awesome.
I'm working on them double digits, brother. I'm trying, man. I cannot wait.
Just stick with 3, man. Just enjoy the 3.
I'm just so envious of the people. You know what, though? I respect that now, though. When people tell me, like, 30 years, 40, 60 years, somebody told me one time, dude, I got so much respect for that. Because I know how hard it is, man.
We got 25, man.
I know. And I got respect for that.
Big milestone, 25 years married.
That is so respect. I mean.
Dude, I respect my damn self for that.
I know how hard it is. It's hard, man. And I don't want people to think like we don't love our wife, but it's hard. It's hard to make anything work with anybody for that long. I don't care if it's a marriage, if it's a friendship, if it's a work, if it's a colleague. It's hard to make two people coming from completely different areas of life to work together and commit to something for that amount of time. Right. Dude, as a fitness instructor for years, it was hard for me to get 10 people to agree to a one boot camp. You know what I mean? Let alone sticking together with another human being for 30 years. That's hard.
Well, since we're not gonna tip anyone off into the future episodes on relationships, we won't get too deep into it. But we're gonna talk a little bit about
we are
how that works,
the ups and downs. We will.
Right.
But anyways, so the other thing I wanted to make sure we get it to. I have a couple more, but the other one is the value in relationships, the value that they can offer.
Right.
Because I think everybody kind of knows it, but nobody wants to say it, right? Because the one thing I've noticed, you people out there who are posting all this on Facebook about how single and loving, and you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah.
You think you're fooling. You might be fooling yourself, but you're not fooling anybody. Because you're the same person who posted last week about how you're going to stay single forever, and the next week you're posting you found the man of your dreams and you're going to get married sometime. So you're still looking, and I think that's the thing that we have to kind of be honest about is there is value in a relationship. I mean, it's not all bad.
Well, hey, by the way, those same single people, if you are really valuing your single life, it doesn't mean I would still want a freaking life. In other words, that partner where we can go out being single and freaky together.
Right.
I mean, see, the thing is swinging does exist.
Yes, it does.
And you can get into a lot more and better swinging parties if you're connected with somebody, if you're not single. So if I was this age right now that I am and still single-minded,
Right.
there ain't no doubt I would still have a partner
of course.
in my life where we would just go out and wreck stuff together.
Of course.
I mean, you know what I mean? So if you're really single and loving it, then if you really want to love it and get real freaky deaky,
go all out.
Get a woman with you, and that opens doors like crazy. Because let me tell you something.
Drive it like you stole it, man.
The times, and I don't want to get too personal, so I'm not going to out, any of my situation. But I'll tell you this: nothing attracts stuff like a hot woman.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Dana attracts,
of course,
a lot of women.
Women are like sharks, man.
There ain't no doubt
that
if I was a different mindset right now, I would use Dana like crazy.
But I think it's important though that we do address. Yes, there's some downsides. There can be some negatives, but the positive that relationships bring, man, that security. We were just not too long ago. We were in Kentucky for the NASCAR thing. Mm-hmm. With Corbin Forrester. Make sure you guys follow at Corbin Forrester.
That's right.
But driving home, I thought it was hilarious that it was happening and we were both aware of it. Neither one of us cared. There was a time in my life I would have been like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. But I was like, hell yeah. And that was, we were both like little pissy brats when we couldn't get a hold of our wives on the way home, right? So we're coming home. I'm trying to call my wife. She doesn't answer. You try to call yours, and we're like, what the hell? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
You know who I am?
Yeah, right?
I'm important.
And then once we got a hold of them, we're good. Like, all right. Even if we just heard the voice kind of talk for a little bit, we're good.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that people don't talk about enough, about just knowing that there's somebody at home right now that cares. There's somebody at home right now that cares if I'm here or not, or if I come back or not.
Yes.
That kind of feeling you have inside, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's a feeling you don't have when you don't have a relationship at home. Your dog might care, but your dog is different. And I think that's why. And, we're social creatures. That's how we're designed. We're designed to be around others. We're not meant to be solitary, island people. Right. That's why people go crazy when you put them in solitary. We're supposed to have that connection, that community, the community thing. Mm-hmm. So it's not a weakness. It's not a bad thing that you want a relationship. I think that what becomes a bad thing is when you start to lose yourself or you sacrifice too much to get that relationship. That's where the bad part comes in.
Right. When you said that, you gave me goosebumps because I thought about, I'm a great student of life, I believe. Right. I may not have been a great student in school, but I think I study people really well, and I study, and I listen to older men really well.
Right.
And I think of all the older men that are in retirement homes.
Okay.
And in their later stages of life, and there's nothing that makes me feel better than to watch an old couple together. The way a truly old person takes care of their other old person, getting in the car, opening the door for them, I look at that and I'm just like,
well, that's your person.
That is so cool.
That's your person.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Out of all the billion, that's your person right there.
That's just to be able to take care of somebody in whatever way that you take care of them.
Yeah.
To be for them whatever they need you to be for them. Yeah. There is no greater gift to give somebody.
No, there isn't.
You know what I mean? And giving someone a gift feels damn good.
Well, the fulfillment you get from that is just something. It's something I never anticipated. But we're kind of getting close to our time. Not 100%, but the way you and I talk, it'll run fast. So I do want to get the last one in there before we just put it all together.
Right.
But the other thing I think that, kind of the idea of getting into relationships. So we already talked about letting go of some of the baggage, working on yourself.
Yeah.
We talked about there is a benefit to it, to the relationships. It's not just all what you see on TV bad or whatever, what you might have experienced.
Right.
But the other thing I think that kind of, and you mentioned it a little bit with your daughter, but I'm going to take it to another level now, and that is, the expectations. The other thing I see a lot, especially with people who are newly in a relationship, I'm talking like a couple weeks, maybe a month, if that.
Yeah.
They have all these expectations of how the other person's going to treat them, how they're going to act, and how they're going to say or do certain things, and then they get all upset when that doesn't happen.
Right.
When they're not doing what they think they should be doing. And, that's where those expectations lead to resentments. And then that's when their friends start getting involved. And, well, you don't need to be putting up with it. Because that's the thing with friends, man. Your single friends always got an opinion. When you're in a relationship, your single friends are always going, oh, I wouldn't do that. Or you shouldn't do that. Or, girl, you should do this. Right. Don't listen to them. They don't have to deal with those consequences like you do.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing, right? Expectations. And I had to deal with that myself, early on in my relationship. I had certain expectations of the way things should go. Right. Or how we should talk to one another, or how we should act during certain moments and things of that nature. And when those didn't go my way, or the way I thought they should have gone, I absolutely dealt with resentment.
Right.
Like, why is this happening? And filling in the narrative of assuming what you know the other person's thought process is.
Right.
You know, because if they didn't do it the way you thought it should go on, they're wrong.
Right.
You know, it's just they're wrong. You know, obviously they're not, but that's the mindset you have. And then you start to fill in the narrative of they did this because of this. And that's the dangerous part, I think, is when you have this expectation of how things should go, what a relationship is supposed to look like. And then when it doesn't, then you start blaming the other person, or you start filling in the narrative of why it happened that way. And then it all comes crashing down. And I think that kind of goes back to the first part, and that is letting go of some of that baggage. Because I think what a lot of us don't realize is how impacted we are by our past. Your past, if you don't work on some of that, it really, truly affects.
It becomes weapons anyway.
Well, it definitely becomes weapons.
You start throwing it at the other person.
Well, it also shapes your your outlook. You know, I used to joke with my friends all the time. You know, if you're looking for your spouse and you think your spouse is cheating on you, and you go looking for proof or evidence, you're going to find it, whether they're cheating or not. If your mindset is they're cheating on me, then every time the phone rings, it's not a business. No, it's that girl or it's that dude.
Well, especially since cheating has now changed.
Yeah,
it's no longer just physical.
Yeah,
before social media, cheating was just physical.
Yeah.
Now this emotional cheating thing, I think if you look at it and define it, it's like I'm not even allowed to say hi to a woman.
No, but
that definition has changed.
Yeah, for sure, man. But I think that's part of it, right? It changes your whole outlook.
Yeah,
you know. And so if you've gone through stuff in the past, then it changes who you are, how you view things, and how you see things. It changes what you attract to you. But then once you get into the relationship and the new parts of it, it changes how you define a successful relationship.
Yeah.
It changes what you think that person should or shouldn't do, you know, and you're going to always revert back to what you've experienced to notify you whether this is a good thing or a bad thing that's happening. You know, and it affects your definition of what good might be. And I went through that. I don't know if you did or not, but I know I did. Early on in my relationship, there's definitely things that were happening in the very, very beginning that I had to deal with. And I had to say to myself, like, hold up, why am I stressing over this? Why is this such a huge deal for me at the moment? And I had to realize it wasn't her. It was my own preconceived expectations that weren't on par with what was happening. And I think that happens a lot.
I think there's two deadly things from what you just brought up. And one is that expectation that a person may change as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people go into a relationship thinking, well, they're going to grow out of it, or they're going to change, or they're going to adapt.
Let me say, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
Like, don't believe them.
Right.
If they're showing you who they are, if they're showing you their true colors,
that's it.
It's that whole actions speak louder than words.
Right.
You know, if they're acting and behaving a certain way and they're letting you know who they are, you need to say to yourself right then and there, am I okay with this? Period. And if I'm not okay with it, don't go any further.
Yeah.
If you are okay with it, then do your thing. But don't say I'm not okay with it. But that'll change. No, they won't. That's who they are.
Yeah. And even if they did change, the stuff that they're probably going to be changing for the next person. Not you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're the one that they're going to learn, oh, man, I should have not. Yeah. And then on the next person gets all the good.
Pretty much.
You know, you're
the stepping stone.
Yeah, it's like, damn, can I be the next one? Because right now you're still too raw.
Yeah.
I'd rather be your next. Because your current is going to have to live with a lot of crap. You know what I mean? I don't want that.
Awesome.
But the other one that I was thinking about, dang it, I forgot now. I get
interrupted you.
Yeah, no, I interrupted myself, man, in my brain.
Well, expectations lead to resentment kind of a thing. You said two deadly things.
Yeah, you know, but there was another deadly thing that I wanted to bring up that's in a relationship. God, man, and I'm spacing it right now. But it was a really good one. So maybe I'll think about it again. If it's worth sharing, it'll come out again.
It's
so
always
keep
worth
going.
sharing, man. You have value, man.
Well, yeah, no.
No, but I just think that all in all, man, you know, when it comes to relationship, and there's so much, obviously, we want to get out there, but we have our future shows to do that. So we wanted to focus this one mainly on the beginning stages, like, you know, before you get into a relationship or while you're courting somebody or the very first, like, you know, month or so of a relationship where you're kind of still learning each other and figuring each other out. And you know, there's another enemy, and I don't want to get too far into this one because I do believe there's a space for it in our future shows, but the comparison stuff.
That was it.
Okay.
That was it.
Oh, see, like, remember,
ding, 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 ding. That was the other deadly thing. The other deadly thing is comparing.
Yeah. And you know what I hate the most?
Don't do it.
Well, you know what I hate the most about the comparison part?
Yes.
Is
that's funny, man.
The ones I speak to, you know what they're comparing it on?
What?
Freaking social media.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, such and such is always posting it. Dude, first of all, nobody is posting their truth on social media. Let's just put that out there.
Right.
Nobody's putting, I just had diarrhea last night.
They may be posting their truth, but they're posting only a part of it.
Exactly.
Because I post truth, but I'm not giving you the entire day.
No, man. What I'm saying is they're not posting the truth.
Yeah.
They're posting, let's put this truth in there. Nobody's putting, I just got in a fight earlier with such and such, or I had diarrhea this morning. Like, nobody's putting that on there.
And if they are, I'm not following them.
Exactly. But the point is they're putting certain truths on there. They're putting their best foot forward.
Right.
So, you're comparing somebody, first of all, is always a bad idea. Second of all, if you are going to compare them, then compare the reality to it.
Yeah.
Don't compare it to what they're selling you.
Yeah.
Compare the reality.
Compare them to them.
Yeah.
That's a great comparison. Like, if I've changed, like, if I'm, like, here's the problem. I think too many people go into it being fake and phony in the relationship. For instance, I make jokes about flower giving and gift giving and all that, because when I see a guy coming into a relationship and right away they're doing the flowers and they're doing the gifts, and I always joke with them, and my wife hates that I do this with him. She goes, don't do that to him. I'm always saying, dude, you're not going to be able to keep that up.
No.
I said, so what's going to happen is you're going to
reality.
That's not reality. And if it is, you're a phenomenal man. But let me tell you something. That they will miss that.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that you're wooing them, but then you're going to take that away. So it's like I'd rather ramp up to something rather than doing it all now and then like fizzling out.
Reduce those expectations.
Yeah,
you lower them down. A little bit. Yeah,
dude, what are you doing? You're a 20-year-old guy and you're giving 24 roses. Are you nuts?
What are you doing when she's like 60?
You know how many roses I'd have to give at a 25-year anniversary? No, listen, dude, you better just give one. One is all. Yeah. One is beautiful.
Yes.
Singular. You're one guy. Yeah. She doesn't need a gangbang of roses. She just wants one. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's like if you go out and you're a brand new relationship and you buy a 2-carat ring, are you nuts?
Yeah, well, and, but I think that goes back to my first point though of working on yourself, right? Because I think oftentimes people put their best foot forward because they're afraid that if they saw the real them right now, they wouldn't want them. And so I think that's part of it is be confident in who you are. Like, look, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table.
This is be honest.
Yeah, man.
Completely. You have nothing. And this is why I think that Dana and I work so well. Right. And I hope that it works for you if you try this. But I went into it thinking, I'm not going to not say anything. I'm going to say everything that I am and feel. Right. Because if she sticks around with that, I'm golden.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want her to do the same. I'm like, please do not censor yourself. Please do not censor yourself. Now, I'll tell you what to censor yourself. Here's what you censor yourself with me. I never want to watch you go to the bathroom. And I never want you to do anything that's going to take away from the physical part of what I love about you, because I just don't want, I can't unsee that. So, but that's me. That's me being honest with me.
Right.
Just don't do that with me. I don't need that kind of honesty.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And to this day, she laughs and jokes about that because she'll be like, you don't like to know anything. I go, nope. No. Still close the door. That's too much for me. Because I can't unsee and undo that for me.
See, I got a rule with that one, but then number 2.
You have to see the number 2?
I don't want to see that.
That's what I'm saying.
Number 1, I don't care about.
I don't want anything with blood or feces, bro. Yeah. I don't need to know about it.
Okay.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I think we're in similar pages on that.
And me being honest about that from day one,
right,
lets her know, don't ever show him or talk to him about it, because I want him to still look at me like a beautiful, sexy human being. And I told her that it will, because I had bad experiences way early on, and I was traumatized by some females in that situation. I said, look, man, if you don't want to trigger that trauma, I ran from it. I ran quick from that.
Sure.
You know, so anyway. I don't even want to think about that.
But I think, but that's what I was saying, though, right? You know, part of being that honest is being honest with yourself as well, right? And doing that growth, you know, and if you've been in previous relationships, stop blaming the other person for everything. Go watch my show. You know, maybe it was you, because it wasn't just them. It was you too.
Yeah,
I mean, you allowed certain things to take place. You valued certain things, and you weren't perfect, right? You know, no matter how bad the other person may or may not have been, it takes 2 to tango. Yeah. You know, you were part of those very same arguments. You allowed certain things to be taken personal. You know, you fought back. Whatever the storyline was. You know, you have room to grow, right? So you got to be honest with yourself and what you're what needed to be grown on and things of that nature. And so that way you don't bring that into the next relationship.
Yeah,
basically.
please don't.
Because nobody wants that. Like, that's not a way to start.
I'm just lucky that Dana wasn't traumatized in her past relationship. He just wasn't the guy. And I met her, right? You know, they were in a 4-year relationship, man.
Wow.
And they went to a wedding together, her sister's wedding. And I met her right after that wedding, and it was then and there she really knew this is not going to be the guy. I don't feel secure by him. He doesn't have the motivation I love and that I really want in a man. Wow. I don't feel safe enough. There's not a safety feeling when I'm next to him. I don't feel like he can protect me. Wow. And those are all the things she said. The day I met you, she said, the day I met you, I felt all of that, and I was like, well, that's cool because the day I met you, I felt like, oh my God, this is it.
That's funny.
But so that's interesting though, right? Because we got lucky that neither one of us came with baggage from another person.
Yeah.
That's like a phenomenon, I think.
Oh, yeah, because I definitely had baggage.
I think most people do. Most people have at least one bad relationship in one of them.
Yeah.
Neither one of us had a bad relationship that think anyone's a jerk in our past. Everybody's cool.
Yeah, but I think it's important to note that baggage can be gotten over.
It has to be.
I think that
it's mandatory.
I think that people don't realize that. I think that people, that's the problem, right? Is they get wounded. Yeah. And then instead of working on that wound because it's too painful to approach, they kind of bury it, and then they keep thinking the next person is going to fix it all. The next person is going to make it better.
Right.
And they don't realize that, no, you play a role in that.
Mm-hmm.
The next person is going to feed off of whatever you give them. And if you're giving them your woundedness, that's what they're going to play with.
Yeah.
And expecting that new person, like, that's the thing that I don't think people look at, right? Because I've had that happen to me before, because I used to always attract broken ones. Do you know how much pressure that puts on your new spouse to make them feel like it's their job to fix you? Like it's your job to, I'm unhappy. I'm dealing with all this stuff. You're going to make it all better.
And how are you not going to accidentally say something or act
course.
Like the other person did?
Well, but that's so much pressure to put on this person to fill the void that's been missing from your whole life and all that. Like, nobody wants. It's a job now. It's no longer a relationship. This is a job.
That's a different kind of work. When you said this is hard, that's a different kind of hard.
Yeah, man. And so I think that's important to realize is it's your job. It's your job to be happy. It's your job to fix all that. It's your job to find your inner peace. Previous shows on the inner peace, check it out. Message. I had to do the plug, man.
That's fine.
But no, it's your job to find that inner peace and find that happiness, because it's not the spouse's job to make you happy.
Yeah.
As much as I love my wife, it is not her job to make me happy.
That's right.
It's her job to help me find pleasure and joy.
Right.
But happiness, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, that's not her role. And
that's that whole complete me crap.
Yeah, which is so stupid.
You
got to be complete.
That's so Valentine's Day-ish.
Yeah.
Every day is not Valentine's Day, kids.
No, it's not.
You complete me.
You had me at hello.
Yeah.
But no, I think that that's important, though. It's important to understand that it's your job to do that work. It's your job to fix the woundedness in you.
Yeah.
It's not the new spouse's job to take on that full-time job of I got to fix this girl now, or I got to fix this dude now.
Please step to me complete.
Yeah, man.
Because I suck at fixing things.
Right?
Really.
Which sucks because we're both fixers. So.
Yeah, but we're fixers that we're not emotionally attached to.
Correct.
When you're emotionally attached to them, I'll give up.
Yeah,
I really will. I won't. That'll be a project that will never get done. It'll sit in my garage.
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
Undone.
But no, so I think that if you've gone through the big takeaway here though is, whether you want one or not, man, relationships are worth it. And if you don't want one, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe you're just not ready. Maybe you're not at a mindset yet where you're ready to make that kind of commitment, make that kind of the work that goes into that, and that's cool. Totally fine.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with you if you don't want a relationship at the moment. But for those of you who are interested in one, or for those of you who are out there telling everybody that you don't want one but you secretly do want one, that's okay too, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to work on yourself. Right. You got to make sure that you are the right person as opposed to looking for the right person. Because I've seen a lot of people, man, give me this laundry list of what they're looking for, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's a great person you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, who is that person going to commit to? What are you bringing to the table that they're going to want?
Yeah, can you match that?
Yeah, like you're.
But
asking,
usually they think so.
They do think so.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. Is they think that they have all this stuff to offer, but they haven't been honest with themselves and realize, wait a minute, I get moody sometimes. Right. I have my own perceptions that skew what's happening in front of me. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes you'll say something, I'll hear something completely different. Like they forget all that, and nobody wants to deal with that.
Well, and here's the other sad thing is that as real as you feel that you are, or as genuine as you feel that you are, don't tell me that aesthetics don't matter, because at the end of the day, there's some very beautiful people inside that aren't aesthetically pleasing, and that's why some people have not given them an opportunity to learn that they have every quality you're looking for except one, and that's that you're not physically attracted to that person, and I feel for them, and I feel for those people because they are everything for somebody. You know what I mean? And I think once you mature out of whatever you're in, because we all don't stay beautiful. You know what I mean? Some of us grow very ugly. You know, and I hope I haven't. I hope that Dana still finds me physically attractive, but at least I'm aware that that's a job I also have to take on. Like whatever she finds aesthetically pleasing, I got to keep some of that up.
Well, you got to be attracted, man.
You got to be attracted to the person. So those of you out there that go, well, no, they just have to like me for how I am. Well, no, wait a minute. Don't tell me you don't look at aesthetics, because if you didn't, there's somebody out there you'd already be with. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
You know what's funny part? You mentioned that is we actually during our vacation in the Bahamas, we were all kind of talking about this, and Scott was asking us how we met and all these other things, and I don't remember all the stuff leading up to it, but I just remember.
You say it was her butt?
Well, no, I just said it was her looks.
Okay, like, close enough.
It's basically but I can't remember how it all came to be. But one of the questions that was asked was about her looks, whatever, and she asked me would I still, would I married her if she wasn't, because I said something about attraction matters or whatever. I can't remember. It sucks. I can't remember the exact verbiage.
Right.
But the reason why I can't, because I can't get her face out of my mind.
Oh boy.
I basically told her, I was like, "There's no way in hell I would have married your mother if I didn't think she was attractive."
No.
And Scott just looked like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah,
there's no way.
I'm sorry.
There's no way.
She's a great person, but if I wasn't attracted to her, sorry, I would not have married her."
No, I wasn't that healthy yet. I was still relatively shallow. Well, I'm kind of a lot older than you, but still, no.
I had to be attracted to her. No. But I just remember her face was like, "What?" And then but Angel was laughing. She was like, "Yeah, I mean, I had to be attracted to him too."
Absolutely.
Like, sorry, just being honest with you. There was no attraction there. Sorry, because I was always saying, attraction, looks and stuff is what gets the person there.
Right.
Your inner work is what keeps them there.
Right.
Like what initially brings two people together is lust or some sort of a physical attraction, and then who you are as a human being is what keeps them around.
Right.
I don't stay married because I'm attracted to her. I stay married because I love who she is.
100%.
And I love what she brings in my life, and I love what we share together. Yeah. But what brought me there in the first place is it was her butt.
Is really fine as Dana has always been. Her eyes did it for me. Something in those eyes, just the way she looked at me, was just, I don't know, it did something to me, the way she looked at me. Right. And then all those songs of someone saying that, all the poems, it made sense to me. Right. Because up until that point, I was like, I had a different look in mind. Like when they look at you, it was like, I'm hungry for you.
Sure.
They didn't give me a hungry eyes. She gave me just these eyes that were just like amazing. I don't even know how to explain them. Right. But anyway, it was her eyes. And for a long time, it was hard for me to call her sexy.
Really?
Like as sexy as she was, I couldn't write it in cards. I couldn't tell her that.
Really?
Yeah. And that always stuck in my head. Like, why don't I do that? Why am I not?
Interesting.
And it was something that is like, I did not want to love her for her physical beauty.
Interesting.
There was something inside my head that was like scared to love her for the physical part of the beauty. And if you've seen Dana, she's just physically. I mean, she has everything that you'd want. And I did not want to love her for that.
Interesting.
And oddly enough, the qualities that I did fall in love with her for was the kind of the ditziness, like of a Private Benjamin, or like what is that other one that one boy band dude married? The blonde that is kind of ditzy and oh my God, I'm bringing sexy back. Who's the guy that sang this song? Bringing
Justin
sexy
Timberlake?
Back. All right, who's that blonde he married?
Man, I don't pay attention.
Anyway, whatever. Anyway, it was more like Private Benjamin. And that Private Benjamin-ish, that Goldie Hawn-ish stuff is what I fell in love with, even though Goldie Hawn is also very attractive.
Right.
But that's not the part that... And I think that's really cool that I was able to look past that and just get lucky enough that here at 47 years old, she's still hot. That's a ding, ding, ding lucky.
So
because you never know.
Yeah, well, the funny part, too, is I keep trying to get my wife to understand there's a difference. Like, when I say sexy, I don't mean just your looks.
Right.
I mean just who you are as a person.
Yeah.
To me, that's the sexy part.
You're older and more mature right now, though.
True.
I'm talking when I was 21 years old. Trust me, sexy meant sexy.
Sure.
There was only one definition of sexy, and that
lustful.
meant, like, get on that pole and show me what that looks like sexy. I was very shallow, Trinity, when I met Dana. I was 20 years old, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, we're running out of time. We only got like a couple minutes.
Go ahead,
so
man.
I'm gonna
Finish
do my
it
three
up.
things
All
here
right,
real quick.
shut me down.
So first and foremost, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you, if you're listening to this on a podcast somewhere on YouTube or whatever, make sure you subscribe and share it with your friends. If there's value here that you see, make sure everybody else gets to hear it too. Having said that, let's go ahead and do our three things real quick. So the three things for today's show, and once again, we got 2 more shows coming up on relationships, and if you like this one, they're only going to get better. I promise you that. So my 3 things, I like to make some sort of an action plan for you guys at the end of here. So number 1 is, if you're thinking about relationships, if you're going to get in one, or even if you are in one now, you got to let go of the past. You got to work on being the right person as opposed to just looking for the right person. Be the right person. Do the work, do the intrinsic thinking, read books, kind of, get to know who you are and work on your inner demons and the things that are preventing you from finding that inner peace on your own. The second one is, you got to see value in what relationships can bring to the table. You got to understand that they're not all bad. They might not be what you see in the movies all the time. Like he said, every day's Valentine's Day. But it does bring a certain sense of security and safety and belonging and kind of just comfort, if you will. It just makes things a little bit easier. I know for me, it makes waking up tomorrow much easier to do, knowing that my wife, I'm going to go to bed with her that night. And then the third one is, you got to understand, if you're getting into a relationship or if you're new into a relationship, expectations lead to resentment. Stop thinking that you know how things are going to go. Stop expecting certain things to act a certain way. Stop thinking you know the reasons behind it if they don't go the way you expected them to go. You'll notice that it brings a lot of trouble your way if you do those things. If you don't do them, in other words, if you don't expect things, if you just let it be who it is, it's much, much, much easier to accept. And you find yourself less willing to add to the narrative. So now, I got to thank my sponsors. Yeah. I almost forgot there. So first one I'm going to think is Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers. They're a fantastic facility. We also got Journey Pure, which is another good one. We got Orange County Drug Treat Coalition here in Orange County with Carol Burkett. We got the Now Matters More Foundation. Make sure you check out nowmattersmore.org to donate or see what we're about. And if you or somebody else needs help, 833-NOW-MATTERS. You can get a hold of us. I think that's our time. We got to wrap it up. Till next time. Peace.
I think he plans it all out. Just makes it up as he goes along.
Human knowledge belongs to the world.